Okay, I say good morning and welcome to Koikimedia Live. Today is the 14th day of the month of March 2025. As we continue our task and our right to self-determination, a task that will be completed, and also a task that whether we like it or not, we have no other option. So good morning and welcome. It's exactly 1 minute past 1 a.m. from London, from our studio where we continue our demands and the reason why the Yoruba people must live and have its own independent country. No retreat, no surrender, as there's a lot that is happening now that we have talked about for the last 3 years. Mohokbe, Opolokbomo Yoruba have now come to the conclusion that Nigeria is not going to work. And I pray that many people that are still praying that Nigeria would be a country will wake up and understand that Nigeria is not for us. Under the leadership of Professor Adebanji Akitoye, we greet everyone. I say good morning and welcome once again. The task for Yoruba independent will be completed in our lifetime. But it will involve a lot of work, which is exactly what we are doing on a daily basis. Creating awareness, bringing people in to let them understand that the Yoruba people have no business with Nigeria. So please share the program while we are getting our other platforms ready as quickly as possible. Help me to bring in the others as well. The Yoruba people have been calling out the federal government of Nigeria from the previous administration to the current administration to negotiate so that we can have a peaceful dissolution away from Nigeria. And that is still the stand where we are under the leadership of Professor Akitoye. Nothing has changed. We are still demanding that the Yoruba people should be allowed to negotiate peacefully out of this contraction known as Nigeria that has failed every single person known as Nigeria. This country has failed every single person. It does not matter whether you are Hausa. It does not matter whether you are Igbo. It does not even matter whether you are Yoruba. Nigeria is a disaster created by the white man to deceive and give us the impression that Nigeria still has a place within the committee of friends. Nigeria will never work. And it is important that those that are still living in denial come back to their senses before it is too late, that Nigeria is never going to work. So Mokenyi, I'm still trying to get one of my other platforms up and running. So while we're doing that, please just click on the share button and invite your enemies, your friends to come and join this powerful crusade, a powerful discussion on the reason why the Yoruba people should now disengage from this white man created country called Nigeria by Britain in 1914. Whether it was an amalgamation or not, we would have no reason than to exit at the appropriate time, which is not going to be long anymore. It does not matter what people say, whether they agree with it or they disagree with it. The question remains is, Nigeria is a failed country. So Moki and Yenyawa, say good morning once again, and please do share this broadcast. Very important that you do. While we are almost into the setup of all my platforms, I welcome you once again. Moki gbogbo yin olólùfẹ́ wa ní gbogbo ibikíbi tí ẹ bá ti darapọ̀ mọ́ wa. Moki wa o pé a kú òǹgbẹ. As the Muslims are fasting, the Christians are also fasting, and likewise many other, whether a believer of Christians or whether you disagree with Muslims, what matters is your freedom is important and somebody has to fight on your behalf, which is exactly what we are doing, because not everybody has common sense and not everybody will have the desire to fight for freedom. While we are very determined to complete this task that the God has given us, regardless of whatever God that you believe, is a task that will be completed, is a task that must be completed regardless of what people say. This task will be completed, God's willing. Yoruba people will be free. They will have their own independent country. It could be on a roundtable discussion, or it could be the other way around. It does not matter which way. What matters is the Yoruba people will be free. How long, how soon? That is a task that myself and you would have to push. Gbogbo àlàyé tí mo ṣe fẹ́yìn yan wa, ó ní pé iṣẹ́ tó wà nílẹ̀, àjọṣe gbogbo wa ni. And it is important that we get that into the score of many Yoruba people. Àwọn tí wọ́n ṣì ń sunkún Nigeria, there is no point crying for a country like Nigeria. Is a disaster. It is the creation of Britain. And when they were creating that contraction, Britain knew exactly that Nigeria will never work. You cannot bring people that do not speak the same language, do not have the same culture, and expect a country to be developed. So gbogbo atrocity tá à ń rí tó ń ṣẹlẹ̀ lọ́tùn lósì nínú Nigeria is bound to happen, since Britain knew that the Yoruba people should have nothing to do with the Hausa, the Igbos. And unfortunately, they went ahead and still create this monster. And that's why we are facing what we are facing today. So Mokiwa Lenkosi, ẹ bá mi share programming Mbewa, so that kí a lè ṣàṣeyọrí lórí ẹ̀. So let's quickly start while I will get the other platforms in quickly. Mokiwa Lenkosi, Yoruba Nation, no going back. My name is OLAYOMI KOIKI, and I'll be the host, riding you through. As I always say, I am your last man standing. While you are sleeping, I will come and wake you up from your slumber, just like Igboho did. Nígbà tí Fúlàní ti ká gbogbo amọ́lé, Igboho dìde ó sọ fún gbogbo wa pé ká kúrò lójú oorun. Ojú oorun kí ló ń sọ? Ojú oorun pé Nigeria is a failure and it has failed everyone. Láti Kwara, ó fail. Láti Kogi, ó fail. Kò síbi tí Nigeria ò ti fail ààrẹ. Tó bá dé Ọ̀yọ́ State, there was a bomb blast last year in Bodija. Till date, no more information is coming out. So the end of Nigeria is going to emerge. But how is what people are asking. How is it going to emerge? How do we know when Nigeria will finally become au revoir? The time is getting closer. It's just about when exactly do you believe that this country will collapse? Nigeria is not as powerful as Soviet Union, like we have said so many times under the leadership of Babakitoye. Nigeria, Okeregon, Soviet Union was powerful. It had the military, it had everything, but Soviet Union still end up break up. And it breaks quickly. And that's exactly what will be the end of Nigeria. One day you will not be bearing the name, I am a Nigerian. So you would have no choice than to bear a Biafra or to bear an Arewa or to bear a Oduduwa or Yoruba Kingdom. Whichever one will come up in no time. 2025 is a very, very important year as the campaign continues. So while we are just a few minutes to start the program, Mobewale and Konsi, share this program. Retweet. If not, many people will still die, as we have seen all the time, from Akure to the southeast, to the El Rufai son saying that Christian will be killed, but American government has come very hard on Nigeria. We'll be telling you everything that you need to know, but what you need to do is to share the program. Retweet, share to your platforms, remind people that this country is a deliberately not to work. And the reason is because when it works, it will be in the interest but àwọn tí wọ́n fẹ́ jẹ́ kó ṣiṣẹ́ ló pọ̀ jù. Àwọn wo? Àwọn aláwọ̀ funfun. Wọ́n mọ̀ pé tí Yorùbá bá dá dúró, ọ̀pọ̀lọpọ̀ èèyàn ní any reason láti wá sí Europe. Kí ló fẹ́ wá ṣe ní Europe? Ní any business in Europe. So you won't have any business or any reason to go to Libya. Kí ló fẹ́ lọ ṣe ní Libya? Ṣé Libya wá dá tó lẹ̀ Yorùbá ni? Gbogbo ìdí tí wọ́n ṣe ń jẹ́ kí àwọn èèyàn máa believe pé election is the best option. Ẹ lọ dìbò. The European Union will tell you to go and vote, knowing fully well that the crime in Nigeria, you will never get any result. But because Nigerians are gullible people, it does not matter whether they are Yoruba, Igbos, Hausas, they are praying also to become Akpabio, a criminal, or they are praying to become Fayoshe, another criminal. So they are waiting for their turn to steal from the coffer of the masses. But all these is coming to an end. And it's going to come, and it is coming, and it is coming, and it is coming, and it will eventually arrive one day. So let's kickstart. Iṣẹ́ wa fúnlẹ̀ wa, forílẹ̀ ibi wa, ká gbéga, ká gbéga, ká gbéga fàlérí. Ìgbàgbọ́ wa ni pé bá ti bẹ̀rù làbọ̀ mọ́, ká ṣiṣẹ́ ká ṣiṣẹ́, ká ṣiṣẹ́, ká jọlá. Ìṣọ̀kan àti òmìnira ní kẹ́ jẹ́ ká máa lépa. Ìtẹ̀síwájú fọ́pọ̀ ire àtohun tó dára. Ọmọ Oòduà dìde, bọ́ sípò ẹ̀tọ́ rẹ. Ìwọ ni ìmọ́lẹ̀ ògo adúláwọ̀. Àwa ni ìmọ́lẹ̀ ògo adúláwọ̀. Èmi ni ìmọ́lẹ̀ ògo adúláwọ̀. Mo kí ẹ̀yin èèyàn wa o, mo kí yín pé ṣé dáadáa ni àbá yín, dáadáa náà la jẹ́ máa ríra wa. Èmi náà ni o, èmi náà ni Ọláyọmí Kóìkì. After the burial of my mom's friend, I decided to take a short break to reflect and also to play back that life is a very beautiful one until death gets closer. So throughout yesterday, I decided to just stay with my family and also with the children. And also it's been back to back since I've been away for a couple of weeks. I'm back in London, but I pray to be back in Yoruba land very soon when things will kickstart. So for those of you that probably couldn't get through or you're trying to figure out while I've been active online depending on where you're watching me from, because like I always say, Koikimedia is a 24 hours platform. So life you are one of those that refuse to follow us on Twitter, and I can't blame you. Is because it use more on life, but use more Twitter, which is the powerful tools, one of the powerful tools to be used as engagement. Ọ̀pọ̀lọpọ̀ Yoruba ní kò sí lórí Twitter, and it's very sad that we don't have many Yoruba people on Twitter. We have them, but we have those that are endorsing politicians and those that are still also open to become politicians one day. So that is where we are. But for those of us that wants to know what is happening and why we need to leave Nigeria and the reason why Yoruba needs to have his own country, you got to be on Twitter so that our engagement on Twitter will continue away from Facebook and the YouTube and Instagram. So I hope very soon, many of you will join this Twitter. My Twitter handle is Koikimedia. Follow it. Right there, you will be seeing a lot of videos because I will not post any more video of Fulani attack on Facebook. Our page has been attacked for 4 years because of that. But I believe we can still do so on Twitter since Elon Musk Ocean Fuani Ayepeka video sibe. Is either you are on my Koikimedia WhatsApp group on Telegram or on WhatsApp channel or the WhatsApp group or the Meta. Tebawa nibe. I have instructed my team that every video, it does not matter how graphic they are, we will always put viewers' discretion, that they should help us to upload our videos into all these three channels: the Telegram channel, the WhatsApp channel, and the WhatsApp group. So the Meta. From there, you would also pick a lot of other news that is coming from the Koikimedia team, whether it is the news bulletin in Yoruba or the news bulletin in English. We are hoping to add more. But for now, we have the English version, Adeniti Yoruba. If you have never listened to any one of those before, let me just play one, just one, so that you can understand why Koikimedia is moving forward on a daily basis. We are trying our best, even though we have very limited resources to work with. But, stop from not using the little resources that we have to operate. And this is the reason why we are always begging and pleading with our listeners and viewers to help us so that we can have more resources. The more you donate, the more we can expand. And we can also use, as we have done, this platform in the last 4 years to encourage and hope that many Yoruba people would come back to understand that Nigeria is not working. That is what this channel is for now. In the future, we will develop how we want Koikimedia to operate. You can follow all the news on 2 different websites that we have. Because everybody just thought like anybody just open a YouTube channel and they come online, they talk and they go. No, Koikimedia is not like that. Koikimedia is fully registered here in the United Kingdom under the laws of the UK. So it's an organization, and the purpose of the organization is well stated in the Company House. But since 2019, when we decided to join this movement, the journey of liberating the people under the leadership of Professor Akitoye, we decided that we will use Koikimedia to work towards liberating our people. So for that reason, we lost thousands and thousands of revenue. The works that we were getting or we were doing, we need to strategize and change it because we become one of the backbone of this movement. And it is important that a platform like this should not be allowed to not just lack funding, but it also must be supported fully. Since 2019, we have made it clear that not even a single advert will run through, and not even a single advert has been run through for the last 5 years. So we are grateful for those that have supported us throughout the journey. Like I said, this organization was coming from many other companies that have operated in the UK, but I decided to have this one registered. I've had other organizations that have registered in the UK for the last 10 years, but I decided also to register Koikimedia since I wanted to have my own media platform. So, because not everybody knows. People just think that people open, these platforms and they use it to come and talk about anything. No, we are different. We have used this platform for the purpose of what we want to use it for. But most importantly, we are also using it now to fight a right. The right is not a crime, but the country that we are fighting from might take it as a crime. That is not my business. That is their business, because as long as the laws stipulated that the indigenous people have the right to self-determination, so kò sí nǹkan tí ẹnìkankan lè sọ pé in tá à ń ṣe ó wrong. What we are doing is not wrong. It's just that country tá à ń bá fà tàbí fẹ́ exit àwọn ló ń sọ yẹn. And like I said, that is not my problem. That is their own cup of tea. They need to sit down and let us sort this out amicably. And I still believe that things can be sorted out amicably between the Yoruba people and also the federal government of Nigeria. More believe we actually sort it out. And if the federal government thinks that it cannot be sorted out amicably, then ajekwe international community malati dasi ọ̀rọ̀ tó wà nílẹ̀. Lóòótọ́, kò sílùú kankan tó máa wá gbà yín sílẹ̀. Nobody's coming to help you. America has its own problem. Donald Trump says America come first. UK has its own problem. The NHS is in crisis. I was watching our Prime Minister, Moulano Kistama, in somewhere east of the country, talking about the bureaucracy to what within the NHS. Àwa tẹ́tẹ́ ní hospital ní Nàìjíríà ká tó máa complain nípa bureaucracy. Ẹlòmíì ò mọ tó ń jẹ́ bẹ́ẹ̀. Ẹlòmíì ò mọ reason tí kò ṣe sí oògùn hospital. Ẹlòmíì ò mọ reason tí kò ṣe sí ìtọ́jú ní ilé ìwòsàn. But to go back to Koikimedia before we move further into the next discussion, like I said, this particular organization is a private limited company. It has a lot of staff underneath that are working day and night at different levels in Nigeria, outside Nigeria, and also within Europe and African country. But what is the nature? What is the nature of Koikimedia? How many people know? I'll tell you. Because I want to share the program and I want you to do so as well. So that's exactly what I'm doing now. So before we go further again, just click one more time, share button. It costs you nothing. At least you're not paying for that. And I pray that as you share, many people will be liberated, because you are liberated. So I'm sharing, so sending it to some of my contacts. Moki OLAYOMI Igboho. Moki gbogbo àwọn èèyàn wa, mo sì máa kí gbogbo wọn dáadáa. Àwọn èèyàn lálùbáríkà àwọn èèyàn yìí. So mo share program yẹn. Ẹ̀yin náà ẹ bá wa pín. Ẹ bá wa pín program wa. Mo bẹ̀ yín, ẹ bá wa pín program wa. The more tẹ́ bá pín, the more tí ọ̀pọ̀lọpọ̀ àwọn èèyàn máa láǹfààní àti gbọ́n tá à ń sọ. Kódà kò bá jẹ́ nínú abúlé, kò bá jẹ́ nínú city, àwọn èèyàn wa gbọ́dọ̀ gbọ́ in tá à ń sọ àti ìdí pàtàkì tó ṣe kókó tí ìran Yorùbá ṣe gbọ́dọ̀ dá dúró gẹ́gẹ́ bí orílẹ̀-èdè. And I guess we're good to go now. Mo kí èèyàn wa lẹ́ẹ̀kan sí lórí ìkànnì wa tá à ń pè ní Koikimedia, bringing the world closer to your doorstep. Èní ní 14th 3rd 2025 nínú oṣù kẹta ní a ṣì wà. Mo kí bàbá wa Professor Adébánjí Akíntóyè tí wọ́n jẹ́ the leader of the Yoruba self-determination, tí a wà lẹ́yìn wọn, tí a dẹ̀ dúró tì wọ́n, tí a dẹ̀ ní fi wọ́n sílẹ̀ títí tàjọ máa fi délẹ̀ lórí. Àwọn náà dẹ̀ ní fi wá sílẹ̀. Mo kí bàbá wa Dr. Chief Sunday Adéyẹmọ Ìgbòho Òòṣà, ìmọ́lẹ̀ ọmọ Yorùbá, Ìgbòho Elédùmarè. Ìgbòho ni ẹni tí Ọlọ́run fi ránṣẹ́ sí wa, tí a dẹ̀ gbọ́dọ̀ protect pẹ̀lú gbogbo tá a bá ní, ládùúrà ni. Gbogbo nǹkan pátá tí a ní ni a gbọ́dọ̀ fi protect Ìgbòho lọ́wọ́ àwọn kìnìún tí wọ́n ń dẹnu pé àwọn máa mú. Ọwọ́ ọ̀tá ò ní bà, gbogbo ipa tó bá ń gbé kò ní dọ́dọ̀ bàbá wa Ìgbòho. Gbogbo àwọn tí wọ́n ń dẹ páńpẹ́ pé kó fi mú, Ọlọ́run ní jẹ́ kí ẹ rí mú. A tún fi àsìkò yìí a fi ń sọ fún ìjọba tó wà lórí oyè pé ọ̀pọ̀lọpọ̀ nǹkan ti ṣẹlẹ̀ nígbà tí ìjọba tàná wà níbẹ̀ lórí ọ̀rọ̀ bàbá wa ọmọ Adéyẹmọ Ìgbòho. Kí làwọn ọ̀pọ̀lọpọ̀ nǹkan tó ṣẹlẹ̀ yìí? Òun ni pé ní ọdún 2021 ní July 1st, àwọn tí wọ́n wá láti ọ̀dọ̀ ìjọba tàná tí a mọ̀ sí Buhari, wọ́n rán àwọn tí wọ́n ní kó lọ pa Ìgbòho mọ́lé. Wọ́n invite gẹ́gẹ́ bí wọ́n ṣe invite Gumi àti àwọn tó kù, ṣe ni wọ́n kó ìjà lọ bá nínú ilé. Kódà wọ́n gbé babaláwo náà dání. Ọ̀pọ̀lọpọ̀ a máa wò pé kí ló dé tí Ìgbòho ṣe rí bẹ́ẹ̀. Gbogbo wa náà láti mọ̀ ìdí tó ṣe rí bẹ́ẹ̀. Ìdí tó ṣe rí bẹ́ẹ̀ ni pé Ìgbòho jáde, ó fi ọmọ kan wọ̀n pé bí nǹkan ṣe ń lọ nínú ìlú tí kò fi ààbò sílẹ̀ fún aráàlú. Ẹ jẹ́ ká gbọ́ bí Ìgbòho ṣe sọ fún rẹ̀, ká tó máa wá tẹ̀síwájú lórí èyí tí Ìgbòho ń béèrè nípa òkú méjì tó kú sínú ilé ẹ̀, àti pé owó tán ní kó san fún 20 billion naira against àwọn DSS, Department of State Security. Bí mo ṣe ń sọ̀rọ̀ yìí, wọ́n ti sanwó yẹn fún Ìgbòho. Igboho approached court, seek to void judgment to nullify 20 billion damage against the DSS. Sunday Adeyemo, the youth activist, philanthropist, has now approached or filed an appeal before the Supreme Court, challenging a judgment of the Court of Appeal that nullified the 20 billion naira damages awarded to him against the Department of State Service, DSS. In July 2021, Pashimo, Igboho was stopped on his way to Germany in Cotonou, Benin Republic. But today, the same Igboho has now the privilege to go in and out of that same country where the Fulani thought that they could use under the monster and another Fulani cabal, Buhari, that also destroyed Nigeria through many coups that took place in 83 And coming back as a civilian, it was also another, cartel. Buhari was a cartel that brought in more Fulani jihadis into Nigeria, a criminal that should be arrested and taken to the ICC. And we hope one day we will see him in ICC and he will finally die in the prison. Igboho, as we know, was declared wanted by the DSS that could not even track many Yoruba people that are now being killed by the same Fulani terrorists. Many Igbo people in the southeast being massacred. We have all seen the videos. It's all over the social media. If you go on Twitter, on Koikimedia, you'll find it there. The DSS cannot track where people that are kidnapped, how the phone line is operating within the same country. They are not interested. But they are more interested as hoping that a man that stood his ground and said no to the killings of his people. This was in 2021. This is how Igboho said it before we go further.
Wọ́n ní mi sí ìjọba, mò ń lọ ń dá sí nǹkan tí ó kàn mí, ṣùgbọ́n tó kàn mí mo dá sí torí pé ọmọ Yorùbá ni mí. Bí ìjọba bá wà tí ò sí ẹ̀tọ́ tó yẹ kó ṣe fún aráàlú tí wọ́n dìbò fún tó jẹ́ ìjọba lé lórí.
Let me translate to those that might not understand what Igboho was saying there. The job of the government in any part of the world is to protect and defend the territory of that country. That's number one. The second priority is to protect the citizen of those countries. But what we saw in Nigeria for the last 10 years and the previous years of 16 years of the failed PDP. So since 1999, as we are told that we have returned back to democracy, many Nigerians are still suffering from the insecurity. From Oyigbo in the southeast, where many people have been killed, to the southern Kaduna, where El Rufai and the son continue to use Fulani to kill many Christians. America is coming for them. I'll come back to that. To the southwest in Owo, Ondo State, before Akeredolu died, to the bomb blast in Bodija. The crime continues on a daily basis. Igboho has been pushed out of Nigeria since 2021. Yet, 3 years after he has been expelled from his homeland, many deaths has occurred from the 26 people that have just been killed, according to the government in Ondo State over the weekend last week. To those that have died in the southeast, I've seen the videos. And as many people continue to die in the middle belt, Igboho is now saying that if we have a government, you will expect that having a government is the responsibility to protect you, to defend you from atrocity and crime against humanity. But the Nigerian government has left Nigerians to be killed on a daily basis. They have no other choice. The only choice that they have is to pray to God that one day things will change and one day things would happen. But that one day came true from the prayer of those that have been praying. Their prayer eventually came true, and those prayer was Sunday Igboho. Igboho was the prayer that many people have been waiting for. Many others could not dare speak out. Many did not have what it takes. Ọ̀pọ̀lọpọ̀ àwọn èèyàn lè ṣe, kò ṣe pé kò sáwọn akíkanjú, but they were scared of their lives. They were scared that they have children, they have wives, they have properties, They have business interest, whether within Nigeria or outside. So Igboho took it as his own. Kò fẹ́ èèyàn jẹ, kò fẹ́bi tí wọ́n ti ń yànyàn jẹ. So Igboho took it as his own to face those that have turned Yoruba land into a crime scene, to challenge them that this cannot be tolerated. The kings that are meant to talk have gone quiet. The politicians have compromised. The international community have been told lies by Lai Mohammed that it was just a communal clash. It was just a communal clash between farmers and the herders. These are not herders, these are terrorists. And these become the reason why Igboho was targeted. The Fulanis wanted Igboho dead by all means. We'll come back to that. Igboho rose to stop the killings after Fatai Aborode, a professor that lived all his life in Germany, worked all his life, brought back his savings, bought hectares of land in Igboho, southwest part of Nigeria. What we know today is that Igboho was informed that this man that has the same tribal mark with him, a Yoruba man, was killed in Igboho. There was a particular person behind these killings called Seriki of Igboho. Seriki of Igboho knew what he was doing. People were kidnapped. He was the one behind it. He was the one taking the ransom. And he has been living in Igboho for many years. These are not their hometown. These were people that were just given a space, and they've become a terror on our land, terrorizing our people on a daily basis, killing our people. This was the offense of Chief Dr. Sunday Igboho. This was the reason why Toshe Igboho kúrò nílé, just because they say, stop killing my people. My people haven't done anything to you. Why killing them? Why? What is their offense? Kí ni wọ́n ṣe fún yín? So Igboho says, and I quote, tíjọba bá wà tí kò ṣe ètò ààbò faraàlú, if there is a government that cannot protect its citizen, what do we do? What we need to do then is to do whatever we can to protect and defend ourselves. That does not mean that Igboho wanted to destabilize Nigeria. Igboho was expecting the government of the day to deal with the problem. The same problem that Igboho was trying to deal with one at a time, we could have flushed them out. We could have pushed them back 3 years down the line. The same atrocity continue across every part of Nigeria. You will cry if you see some of those images, videos. These are human beings. These are people that are still meant to be alive. They were not sick. They were all killed right in their home. It does not matter whether the farm, it does not matter whether they came to the church, it does not matter whether they were picked on the street. These are people that just wanted to live a life. But rather, there was an agenda. And that agenda is to take Yoruba land. But what Igboho wanted to stop was the atrocity, the influx of this atrocity. And this was one of the interviews he granted to BBC just before he went to Igboho. Let's listen again. It's in Yoruba, a beautiful language. But I've just given those of you that might not understand this particular voice. This voice is the voice of the people. Some call him whatever names, but we call him the angel that we have been waiting for a very long time. And some of us will do everything to protect him. We will pray for him. We will fast for him. We will give him money. We will reinforce every energy around him. Koikimedia will defend Igboho. We will report Nigeria on a daily basis using this platform. Some of them we will not tell you where we are reporting Nigeria to. But I can tell you that every day we wake up, we are doing everything to tell the international community the crime of Nigeria against the Yoruba people and the rest of the indigenous people. You might think that it's just that one letter that was sent to the 10 Downing Street last year, October, under the leadership of Professor Akitoye, submitted on behalf was Chief Igboho and myself and the rest of those. To those that we have done with the United Nations, the European Union, some of them are not in the public gallery, but be rest assured that we are reporting Nigeria every day to those that needs to know. Because Yoruba ni ejo la ma koko ro. Because we have to give them evidence. We are documenting it. That is what Koikimedia is doing. That is part of the nature of why Koikimedia is a very important tool, and no one can destroy it. They might try, but they can't. Because when we were registering Koikimedia, we gave them the reason why Koikimedia needs to be an organization under the rules of this country. When I registered, or using the word incorporated, these are the nature of the business under the SIC, Pre-Press and Pre-Media Services, 18130, Information Technology Consultancy Activities, 62020, News Agency Activities, 63910, Media Representation Services, 73120. Frankly, some of you don't know who you are dealing with. If you know the guy you are dealing with, you will run away from me. You don't know. And that's what I said to Baba Kitoye in 2021 when I went home. You've got the right guy that is ready to defend the right of the Yoruba people, the indigenous people, against the crime and the atrocities. This for nature of business is not a joke. It's a task that we have now used every means surrounding to protect the Yoruba people by giving information, pre-press and pre-media services, news agency activities, media representation services. I will use Koikimedia to report Nigeria to around the world, from New Zealand to Australia, to America to Canada. I will tell the international community the crime of Nigeria against the indigenous people. But we are grateful to have Igboho because his voice rose many people that were already sleeping. My job is now to enhance it and take it to the next level, which is exactly what we are doing. Let's go back and listen to Igboho. This was in 2021. It's just a reminder. 4 years, on a daily basis, myself and Igboho continue to reveal atrocities in Yoruba land. And he has instructed that every atrocity, Koikimedia must document it. Whether the one that you watch on Facebook, which is live like this, or YouTube, or through our other platform, Twitter Space, MixLR, all these are documents, archives, that we will continue to sell to the world. That Fulani that are less than 1% within Nigeria are committing crimes that is beyond them. And we hope that the international community will hold all these accountable to their leaders, from Buhari to El Rufai and the rest of them, for injecting virus into the Yoruba land that our people are now scared. And when you only move, from point A to B, people cannot go to their farms. People cannot go on the road. Even people cannot go to their church services, their mosque. Their traditions have been destroyed.
Tíjọba bá wà, tí ààbò bá sí fún aráàlú tó ró ìṣèjọba lé lórí, aráàlú dìde fúnra ẹ̀. Kì í ṣe pé mo pàṣẹ àbí mo dédé pàṣẹ àbí mo kàn sọ nǹkan tí ó wá látọkàn mi. Nǹkan tó fa ọ̀rọ̀ yìí ni pé ẹni ẹ̀wò láti bí ijọ́ mẹ́ẹ̀ẹ́dógún kan sìn bí ọ̀sẹ̀ bíi méjì ń sìn nípa ọ̀rọ̀ àwọn Fúlàní tó wà ní gbogbo Ìbàràpá. Ẹ wo dókítà wa, Dr. Fatai, PhD doctor, ọmọ Yorùbá tó kàwé tó gboyè, ó wá lọ sí lóyìnbó ní àìníye ọdún ó lọ ṣiṣẹ́. Ó wá dé okòó dé, ó wá lọ lu bàbá ẹ̀ ní gangan. Ó dá oko àgbàdo, ẹ̀gẹ́, iṣu, oríṣiríṣi nǹkan, soya beans. Ó dẹ̀ gba ọmọ wa ní gangan bẹ́ẹ̀ náà sí bẹ̀rẹ̀ pẹ̀tẹ́ tó ń bá ṣiṣẹ́. Fúlàní wá jẹ oko ẹ̀. Ó wá gbéra láti lọ bá àwọn Fúlàní yìí sọ̀rọ̀, láti lọ bá Sẹ́ríkì Fúlàní pé ẹ wá wo ohun tí àwọn ọmọ yín ṣe lórí oko mi, kò yẹ kó rí báyìí lórí ilẹ̀ bàbá mi. Wọ́n dẹ̀ dé lókun bẹ̀ náà, wọ́n dẹ̀ sàpà. Àìmọye èèyàn bẹ́ẹ̀ tá a lè múrúkọ wọn làwọn Fúlàní yìí bẹ́ lórí tó pa wọ́n. Wọ́n jí àwọn kan gbé, ẹni tó bá gbowó tó kéré lọ́wọ́ rẹ̀ wọ́n gba 7 million, wọ́n gba 10 million, wọ́n gba 11 million lórí ilẹ̀ bàbá wa. Ọ̀rọ̀ yìí dùn mí, ó bà mí lọ́kàn jẹ́ gan. Pé tá a bá torí pé tó Ọlọ́run gbà fáwa, àwa ará àwọn ọmọ tí ń tẹ̀lé wa tó ń ṣààbò fún wa, àwọn tí ọ̀lẹ́ni tí ó tẹ̀lé wọn kọ́. Ìdí nìyí tó mú mi lọ síbẹ̀ yẹn. Ìgbà tí mo dẹ̀ débẹ̀, ohun tí mo lọ fún ni pé láti lọ bá a. Pé sógun tí ń ṣẹlẹ̀ yìí lórí ilẹ̀ wa sọ́dá, ẹ ti ń gbé pẹ̀lú wa, adẹ̀fàyè gbà yín, àbá yín jà, àṣẹ nǹkan jàmbá fún yín. Ọ̀rọ̀ yìí ni mò ń bá Sẹ́ríkì sọ̀rọ̀ làwọn ọmọ rẹ̀ yí ọ̀pọ̀ sí mi. Mo gba ìbọn yẹn lọ́wọ́ ìkan yọ àké àgbà, ìkejì tún yọ ìbọn mi. Ìyẹn ti ẹ̀yìn ẹni bá wọnú fídíò yẹn, tọ́ra fídíò wọn, ó yin ìbọn yẹn sí mi kí tó ló bọ̀ yẹn mọ́ lọ́wọ́. Ẹ bá gbọ́ fídíò rẹ̀ pé ìbọn bẹ̀rẹ̀ sí dáhùn bẹ́ẹ̀, wọ́n yin ìbọn sí mi bẹ́ẹ̀ kí n tó gbà. Ẹ ń bájà wá ẹ̀yin pípò yìí, tí ń bá bájà wá ẹ̀ ní dúró. Tẹ́ ẹ bá ti wá lè wá àtúnṣe sí ọ̀rọ̀ jíjígbé àti pípa àwọn ẹ̀gbọ́n wa àtàwọn àǹtí wa, àwọn bọ̀dá wa àtàwọn ìyá mi àtàwọn bàbá mi tẹ̀jú wọn lóko mọ́ yìí o. Ó bẹ́ẹ̀ tàkẹ́ fúri lẹ̀ bàbá wa lẹ̀. Ọ̀rọ̀ náà ń fà yìí sọ̀rọ̀ ẹ̀sìn kí sọ̀rọ̀ ọjà. Àwọn kan gbé wọn fẹ́ pa àwọn mùsùlùmí, kílọ̀kàn mi kan mùsùlùmí, kílọ̀kàn mi kan kírísítẹ̀, kílọ̀kàn mi kan. Gbogbo táà ń fà yìí èmi ò nídìí kankan. Àlàáfíà Yorùbá ni mò ń wá, mi ò fẹ́ kankan bẹ́ẹ̀. Wọ́n dúnkòokò tọ́pọ̀ jù. Wọ́n dúnkòokò ntọ́lọ́hún. Táwọn tí ń dúnkòokò náà mọ̀ pé àwọn ń dúnkòokò mọ́ mi. Ṣùgbọ́n ohun tí èjé kí ẹrù bà mí ni pé ó ń bẹ nínú Bíbélì pé tí ẹ bá ń jà fún ẹ̀tọ́ ẹ̀ lórí ìka bàbá rẹ̀ tó bá kú síbẹ̀ kò sí nǹkan kan torí pé mo mọ̀ pé gbogbo nǹkan tó ń ṣe yẹn fúngbà díẹ̀ ni wọ́n ń dún kòkò àti bí ìjẹ́ ẹni tọ́rọ̀ ti ṣẹlẹ̀ sí ni wọ́n ti ń pè mí àwọn fẹ́ wá wọ́n máa arrest mi wọ́n ti ń send message oríṣiríṣi pé wọ́n fẹ́ wá gbé mi nílé ẹ̀rù kankan ò sì bà mí. gbogbo àwọn ọba tó wà ń bẹ pátápátá inú wọn dùn wọ́n sì fọwọ́ sí pé ìyà tí ń jẹ àwọn etí tó àwọn òfin fúlàní lórí ilẹ̀ bàbá wọn mọ́ pépà ti tó àwọn tí wọ́n ń pa iná làwọn jọba lé lórí tí fídíò sì wà àwọn ọba gan ni wọ́n ń pè mí pé ìyà tí ń jẹ àwọn yìí ti tó àwọn tí wọ́n ń pa àwọn ọmọ àwọn tó ń pa yìí lọ́jọ́ ọ̀la àwọn náà làwọn sì jọba lé lórí ó ti tó bẹ́ẹ̀ kò sí àgbààgbà Yorùbá tínú rẹ̀ ò dùn sí pé kò sínú àgbà ẹ̀rù ń bà wọ́n náà ni ẹ̀rù ń bà wọ́n bàbá wa ni inú tí wọ́n ní òdùn bí wọ́n ṣe ń pa wá bí Fúlàní ṣe ń jí wa gbé tó ń gbowó lálá lọ́wọ́ inú wọn òdùn ṣùgbọ́n ẹ̀rù ń bà wọ́n kọ́ bá wọn yọ wọn nípò bí tí wọ́n wà sẹ́wọ̀n wípé nígbà tí wọ́n ń jí àwọn aráàlú gẹ̀gẹ̀ gbé tí wọ́n ń pa wọ́n tẹ́nì kankan sọ̀rọ̀ ń bọ̀ ya wọ́n lọ jí ọmọ ọba gẹ̀gẹ̀ gbé ọmọ ọba tí ń bẹ lórí gẹ̀gẹ̀ lọ́wọ́lọ́wọ́ wọ́n jí ọmọ bàbá gẹ̀gẹ̀ gbé fúnra ẹ̀ tó fún kó díẹ̀ bí wọ́n sì gba 4 million lọ́wọ́ bàbá kan tó gbọ́ ọmọ bàbá fún bàbá àwọn Fúlàní torí pé ń bọ̀ ọba ya àyè ti gba àwọn Fúlàní ìdèbí pé wọ́n wá gbé ọba fún ẹnu ààfin wọ́n nìkan lọ kí gbogbo aráàlú lọ dáwọ́ jọ àwa Yorùbá sì sùn a sì dákẹ́ a sì sọ̀rọ̀ àwọn bàbá wa dẹ̀ dákẹ́.
And this is what led to the attack, taking us back to July 2021. All this was the reason why Igboho became a target of the federal government. The question we should then ask the federal government is, have they made any changes or amendments? Let's even assume that Igboho was wrong, even though it was never wrong, and it's still not wrong because evidence continued to point till date that Igboho is now justified for what he has done to stop the attack on his people. But Opolopo Omo Yoruba iti accept. Some of them are still believing that one day things will change. So, 1st of July, Igboho's residence was attacked. They knew he was at home because somebody gave the hint that he was in the house. They confirmed it. The same government that cannot track many atrocities happening in Nigeria were able to track Igboho's into the house with his cell phone. They came with Babalawo. They came with over 500 security personnel and machineries. They were drafted in. They were going for a serious fight. But Igboho knew it was not worth fighting because he hasn't committed any crime. So there's no reason to fight the government. Igboho has stated it many times with evidence. One of those evidence, we released that a few days ago during a conversation between himself and the former governor of Kogi State, Yaya Bello, that all I want is peace. As long as we have peace, and those that wants to kill us won't kill us, we shouldn't have any problem. But rather, what we saw is that those that wants to kill do not want peace. This is what Igboho said then.
It's not good. You understand? So we just want peace. So anybody that's ready to live in peace with us, nobody can touch them. So
that was Igboho speaking between himself and Yaya Bello. That all we want is peace. And anybody that was ready to live with us peacefully, we wouldn't have any problem with them. All this was 2021. Let's listen one more time.
It's not good. You understand? So we just want peace. So anybody that's ready to live in peace with us, nobody can touch them. So
anybody that is ready to live with us peacefully, Nobody will touch them. But these terrorists doesn't want peace. They are blood-sucking. So the government attacked Igboho, destroyed his property, declared him wanted, shut down all his accounts, and many businesses linked to Igboho as we speak today were all taken over by the federal government. Businesses that he has been operating for many years before his intervention about the killings of his people. So yesterday, Igboho took the AGF and the DSS to the Supreme Court. And what was the purpose of taking them to the Supreme Court? Let's go through it. The Guardian newspaper. Yoruba Nation activist Chief Sunday Adeyemo, popularly known as Sunday Igboho, has approached the Supreme Court, Abuja, Igboho's 20 billion lawsuit against AGF, DSS heads to the Supreme Court. Yoruba Nation activist Chief Sunday Adeyemo, popularly known as Sunday Igboho, has approached the Supreme Court, Abuja, to seek the reversal of the judgment of the Court of Appeal, which set aside the 20 billion naira exemplary and aggravated damages awarded to him against the federal government. It is recalled that operatives of the Department of the State Security, DSS, had in the early hours of July 1st, 2021, wanted to kill and eliminate Igboho and everyone in the building. Igboho survived, but 2 people died. His close business friend, Alhaji Adogon, was killed, murdered by the administration of Buhari and Yemi Osibajo. His uncle that came to show him a car that he has just bought was also murdered in the same day, 1st of July 2021. As we speak today, the 2 bodies have not yet been given back to the family for the final burial. These happened July 1st, 2021 at Igboho's mansion, resident at Soka, Ibadan, southwest of Nigeria, killing 2 persons, destroying properties worth billions, including cars and other valuables. The raid was not just a raid, it was an assassination attempt on the life of this Yoruba man, because he said enough of the Fulani killings of his people. His bedroom was ransacked. Thousands of pounds were stolen, never displayed in Abuja. Thousands of dollars were stolen, were never displayed. Thousands of euros, as Igboho lived in Germany, and as a businessman, he had just returned back from a trip. Millions of naira, valuables, jewelries were never displayed by the same criminals that said they were raiding his house. None of such were displayed. Igboho's Rolex, jewelries, the wife jewelries, multiple jewelries that is still not yet accountable for were stolen. Do you know that shoes were stolen, clothes were stolen? This is not just a raid, it was just to come and kill him and take his personal belongings, just like they've done today. They refuse to open his account. If they have access, they will have started taking money out of that account. But do you know that many of his businesses, Fulani under Buhari instructed that Igboho businesses should be removed from him? Properties worth millions and billions of naira. Lands. Maybe some of you don't know many things because it has never been heard before. Igboho businesses across Southwest were all shut down by the Fulanis. Why? Because he said, stop killing my people. Látara pé Igboho dìde fún ọmọ Yorùbá ní July 1st, 2021 tó wọlé ẹ̀. Wọ́n wá rédí ilé yẹn, wọ́n wá jalè ni, wọ́n dẹ̀ fi pa. Ọlọ́run ni kò fún wọn ṣe. But wọ́n jí ọ̀pọ̀lọpọ̀ nǹkan, wọ́n jí gold, wọ́n jí owó, pounds, dollars, naira. Nígbà tó ń display gbogbo tó display, wọ́n display yẹn. But like Professor Wole Soyinka said, don't come and show us cock and bulls that you found weapon in Igboho. Igboho is not a manufacturer of weapons. We know how the government operates. All these weapons that you display are the ones that you had in your catchment. You brought it out so that the journalists and the international community can look at him as a criminal. But that failed because the report that I got last year from the European Union, after a thorough investigation, indicate that Igboho is not a criminal. This thorough investigation went as far as when Igboho was living in Modakeke in Ile-Ife. You can tell that the Europeans will not set up a committee on one man and not find something incriminating around him. All his businesses transaction from the time Igboho has been traveling, nothing was shady, nothing was crime. I have those documents with me. But the federal government thought that they can present Igboho to the international community and the African Union that is a wanted man and they must return him back to Nigeria. Thank you once again to President Patrick Talon. My trip to Africa unveiled much more details that will not be discussed yet. But I can say thank you to President Patrick Talon for quickly intervening in Igboho's case compared to the one of Nnamdi Kanu from Kenya, where a corrupt president allowed Kanu to be taken back to Nigeria. Talon did not allow such. As we know, the properties and those cars are worth billions, not millions of naira. There is a particular vehicle that I saw in the house before I left in 2021 is worth 165 million naira. Brand new, never been used by Igboho. Igboho has now dragged the DSS and the Attorney General of the Federation before an Oyo State High Court for the violation of his fundamental human rights, which many Nigerians will never enjoy. Reason why we're saying we can't continue like this. If they can deal with Igboho, they will deal with any single one of you, whether you are wealthy or not. Presiding Justice Ladiran Akintola, who adjudicated on the matter a year after, in September 2021, after the brouhaha of trying to bring Igboho back home from Benin Republic failed, the government now thought, we will not pay you a dime. It is not going to be possible. But the court in Ibadan looked into the matter and find out clearly that something fishy has gone wrong. Igboho's human right has been abused, just like many Nigerians' human right are still being abused on a daily basis. Doesn't matter what part of Nigeria you are. So you can see that a Yoruba man was going to be killed by a Fulani man. That is the matter. You can also say that the Yoruba judge looked into the matter and realized that justice needs to be served. In 2021, Justice Ladiran Akintola looked into the case on merit. Nothing fishy, looked into the whole case presented by Igboho's lawyer and the prosecutor from the federal government, and awarded Igboho 20 billion naira damages against the federal government. But Buhari and Osibajo were not satisfied. They were not happy. They drafted another Fulani justice, Muslim Hassan, that delivered in August 2022 before the Ibadan division of the appellate court now nullified the Oyo State High Court judgment. You can see why Nigeria can never be united. That declared the attack on Igboho's house illegal, describing the award of damages against the federal government as outrageous. Wọ́n ní kò wọ́tẹ̀ pé kó fún ní £1, kó fún ní £1, kó fún ní £1. So what the Fulani are saying to us is that we can kill any one of you. Nobody will. That's exactly what has happened since 2015 that Buhari came to power. 29,000 Yoruba people were killed until date. No justice has happened. Igboho was awarded 20 billion, but the Fulani Justice Muslim Hassan nullified it and said, no, kò possible, ká sanwó fún Igboho. Do you think that we can continue to live in this kind of country together? Do you think that there can ever be a justice system that will work with the situation of things like these? Do you think that a government has the right to kill its citizen because the citizen is asking that his right has been abused? However, Igboho, in a suit marked SVCV 1436/22, filed by his counsel, Yomi Aliyu, SAN, before the Supreme Court, Abuja, 4 days ago, March 10, 2025, listed 19 grounds of appeal, summarized to 11 for determination. Joined as defendant in the suit include the Attorney General, the Federation and the Department of the State Services, DSS, and the Director of the DSS in Oyo State. According to the court documents obtained by our correspondent on Wednesday, 13th of March 2025, Igboho wants the apex court to determine, among others, whether his fundamental right had been breached or threatened to be breached, thereby situating his application in fundamental right enforcement proceedings rather than in tort as held by the lower court ground 1 and 2. The plaintiff also wants the Supreme Court to determine whether the lower court could discountenance as it did the preliminary objections raised by the appellant simply because they were raised in his brief and because there were other good grounds that could maintain the appeal ground 3, 4, and 5. Whether the appellant briefed filed by the respondent at the lower court out of the time stipulated by the rules is competent and whether the same could be deemed to have been waived by the respondent, now the appellant by filing the respondent brief thereafter, grounds 6, 7, and 8. Whether an application for an extension of time to file an additional record of appeal could be used to cure a fundamental default in not filing the original record of appeal within the time allowed by the learned justice of the lower court, ground 9. Whether the lower court was right in holding that the award of special damages was wrong for not being supported with a valuation report, notwithstanding the uncontradictory affidavit evidence supported with exhibit showing items damaged and invoices submitted by experts in the field, grounds 17 and 18. Whether it is not the duty of the government agency like the respondent to prove beyond reasonable doubt that illegal arms allegedly recovered from the house of the citizen was alleged more so when, apart from the video recordings they made, the respondent also made away with the CCTV in the house. Let me explain that. There was a CCTV in Igboho's house with recordings, hard drives. The question is, why were they removed if they have not committed a crime? The hard drive of these CCTVs are still with the DSS. So you can see that we are dealing with a country that you will not get justice, because it is not today. After 32 years, we are hearing how Abiola was killed, but we have not been told how Dele Giwa was killed. Tolulope Arotile was killed. We have not been told how she died. Many cases continue to lie. The Chief Justice of Nigeria, never been done around the world where a Chief Justice would die and we still don't know the reason behind his death. Bola Ige. So going back, the question is whether the assessment of the aggravated or the exemplary damages by the learned trial judge is unilateral and or irrational and in not compliance with the laid down rules for assessing the same ground 16. And that is Igboho's update of the 20 billion lawsuit against the Attorney General of the Federation, the Department Security Service, taking them to the Supreme Court. And this coming from Koikimedia, bringing the world closer to your doorstep at exactly 2:19 a.m. from London, studio, 14th of March, 2025. Bí a ṣe ń bá program yẹn lọ, this takes me now to the next part where we will continue to say to the international community, thank you so much as you continue to highlight the atrocities by the government against its people. There's a new development coming from the US Congressman Chris Smith on Nigeria against the Christians. When Joe Biden, as Trump always say, a man that has lost his sense, was in power, Joe Biden decided to remove Nigeria from the list of countries where Christians are persecuted. Why? I don't know. But we know that there's always something behind such. But now that those Democratic Party has left office, a lot continue to be unveiled of how and what they've done. But the one that concerns us as Nigerians to be known for now until this country will collapse is that something is not right. Nigerian Christians are target massacre because of their faith. Trump administration has now been asked to go back and review why the previous administration removed Nigeria from that list. Why? So the news filtered yesterday, and I have the press release that I'll be reciting in a minute. The US Congressman Chris Smith, representing the New Jersey 4th District. This was 2 days ago, but the news filtered out almost like yesterday. Nigerian Christians target massacre solely because of their faith. An appeal to Donald Trump administration to redesignate this evil country that Britain created as a country of particular concern. Nigeria is concerned. Very, very important that gbogbo Yoruba gbọ́dọ̀ understand that ìlú tẹ́ ń pọ́nlé, there's a lot of concern on it. And if you're still one of those Yoruba against Yoruba self-determination, I don't know what we can call you. Something is definitely wrong with you. Something is definitely wrong with you. If you're one of those, something definitely is wrong with you. That people are fighting that we retain back our true identity stolen by the white people during the colonial era, stolen our language, our culture, our identity. And you are telling us that we should stick to this crazy monster country that the white man created, not for me and you, for themselves. Because the purpose of the creation of Nigeria has not represented me and you for the last 64 years.
There is no land called Nigeria. There is no language called Nigeria. There are no people called Nigerians. We are only deceiving ourselves. We are not Nigerian. Okay, where is Nigeria? Where is the land called Nigeria? What is the Nigerian language? We are nations that had been forced together to live in one pathetic country. So anybody who goes there today to say, pray for Nigeria, that person is just deceiving himself, because the people who want to be that Nigeria had not sat down to agree if they want to be Nigeria.
And that's a fact. So it is good now that a new administration is in power that can challenge back what the previous administration, why the previous administration have done it, like I said, is something that we can continue to ask. But as we are moving forward, we can't wait to see the new administration of the President Donald Trump bringing this monster, evil country that is never meant to be back in the limelight quickly as a concerned country, because it's not a country anyway. So let's go further. The US Rep. Chris Smith of the New Jersey, chairman of the House Foreign Affairs Subcommittee on Africa. These are the people that will still not just look at concern about Christian, they will look at the concern of the indigenous people when the time comes, which is not too far away. Because everything that Nigeria has done for many, many years against indigenous people are now being exposed on a daily basis by Koikimedia as the crime scenes continue to become wider nets. Some of those videos, if you do not have the art, you can't watch it. The murders, the killings, held a congressional hearing on the ongoing religious freedom violations in Nigeria. It's not just religious freedom violation in Nigeria, it is everything. Many Nigerians don't have access to good health, it is violation. Welfare violation, no jobs violation. Your language has been removed is violation. The violation is uncountable in this contraction that many of you are still calling a country, and this country is going down because Nigeria is at the verge of breakup. You might not be pleased with these words, but the breakup is not going to stop. It will happen, and it's getting closer. If anybody is doubting that Nigeria is not going to break, you better refocus your mind, because the unity of Nigeria is not there. We can never be united, and we will not be united. We are not one, and we will all go our separate ways. Tinubu will be the last president, God's willing. If you're waiting for your kings, most of them are good, but most of them care less about you. I'm talking to the Yoruba people. Most of them see the same videos of the killings of Yoruba people. They don't care. They have no respect for us anymore. Experts, witness join in Chris Smith's appeal to Secretary Marco Rubio, and I can't wait to see him. I've been seeing him traveling from one country to the other. Marco Rubio, the new secretary, not like the previous one that was representing evil. Because if not, why would you remove this country called Nigeria out of this bracket? Only God knows what transpired. And I hope this new administration will unveil it, as they are unveiling many atrocities that Joe Biden administration has done in Africa. So they are appealing on Sofun Secretary of State Marco Rubio to redesignate Africa, and this word that they use all the time, the most populous nation, as a country of particular concern, a designation President Trump used in his term to help persecute Christians in Nigeria. One of our distinguished witnesses, Bishop Wilfred Anagbe of the Diocese of Makurdi, those regions have been killed on a daily basis by the Fulanis to wipe them out completely. They don't want any Christian. El Rufai's song says that we will kill all the Christians in Kaduna before he deleted the tweet. No Christian will exist in Kaduna like father, like son. El Rufai himself, another criminal that brought in terrorists and say we should pamper them, we should even support them, feed them, and they've grown bigger, killing you every blessed day. From the southeast, I see videos, especially when some of those in the region, they say the Yorubas, they forgot that killing is happening on a daily basis in their own community. Videos are sent to us and we post it there. Nobody's safe anymore in Nigeria. Nobody's safe. The killing is happening by a minority and we're all sleeping. Every single one of us are sleeping while the minority continue to massacre and kill us. I pray that we will have the strength to fight back one day. I pray so. But before we get to that prayer, we will continue to push, as we are doing right now, to tell the Trump administration, not just looking into the Christian, it is time to look into Nigeria and let it break away before it becomes another Yugoslavia. Because if care is not taken, Nigeria could be the next Yugoslavia. One of our distinguished witnesses, Bishop Wilfred Anagbe of the Diocese of Makurdi, Nigeria, will testify today that the militant Fulani herdsmen are terrorists, yet this government refused to call them so. Imagine a government that should be telling us that they are terrorists is now rubbing their head and saying, no, they are not terrorists. They are the good guys. They have even repented. Imagine that many of these repentant terrorists are now living with us in our communities. Once again, we will do whatever is needed to free ourselves. And that's exactly what we are doing right now. And I pray we have the strength to do so. As we're going to be winding down very soon, let's complete the final part of the discussion. They steal and vandalize, they killed, and they boast about it, even on the TikTok. We have seen videos of Fulani terrorists. We have seen videos of them eating hard-earned work of farmers' crops. I saw one yesterday on Twitter as the cow continued to eat cassava, pull out from the ground. They video it. They're telling us to F word. We can't do nothing. They carried AK-47. The government refused to empower the security agencies, the local vigilantes, and many Yoruba people continue to ask, what is going to happen? They're calling our names on a daily basis. I heard a voice, Latara Kona Onyawani Ile Baba Koiki, yes, Motigbo VNE, and your message is clear. And I pray we will all have the strength to fight back one day. They kidnap and rape, one of the most crime that international community is when you rape. But these monster, they do it without any iota of respect. They don't even care whether the man and the woman are in their no longer They rape them. They rape children. They enjoy total impunity from the elected officials like Buhari, the president, that told Fulanis to come from every Africa and come to Nigeria, that they have a new home. They don't need a visa, no visa, they just come in. They all have voters card. I saw a video of ones that went into somebody's home and they saw with them ID. People like El Rufai allow them to kill many Christians in Kaduna. Even the son says, we will kill many of them until he deleted the post. And the funniest part is none of them have been arrested. Tí Yoruba bá lọ report Fulani, the Yoruba will be arrested. If I saw one that Igboho sent to me, a man defend himself, eventually killed these monster terrorists on his farm. The Supreme Court has now asked that he should be hanged to death. And this is meant to be a country. And you expect people not to react one day as things are going. Ẹni tí Fulani fi pa tọ́jà tó ń padà pa Fulani. Tó bá yẹ pé Fulani ló pa, that's it. That's the end of him. None of them have been arrested and brought to justice. Ǹjẹ́ gbọ́ pé Fulani tó pààyàn a rí justice? Because they are surrounded by big people within Nigeria and outside Nigeria. The agenda is real, but the Yorubas are sleeping. The Igbos are sleeping. The Hausas are gone already. The Middle Belt almost gone. These are just very small minority that are dealing with every one of us. It is not just only in Nigeria. Like I always say, this is your international platform. And I think I might just able to give us a country where a similar situation is happening right now. Their own has been scaled up. Their own has gone into a different confrontation between them and their government. What country am I talking about? I'll give you the details in just about a few minutes. But one thing is, if we fail to act now, we might one day never have a country anymore. Our land will go, and many people will die because some of those that are meant to speak out refuse to do so. As we know, we live in a world where it is not just us. There's a country called Balochistan. Balochistan. Administratively, it comprises the Pakistan province of Balochistan. It's a population of about 14.89 million. But something most of us probably didn't know occurred in that region. There was a train attack. It has ended, but with a couple of deaths and rescue by the Pakistan military. What we know played out, I'll quickly explain, but what I want us to know is that When people are marginalized, they will do whatever is needed to save themselves. Sometimes it could be brutal. But one thing that we have not done so far and we have not planned to do is to turn the Yoruba nation movement to violence. It still remains a non-violent discussion under the leadership of Professor Adebanji Akintoye. But tí wọ́n bá marginalize àwọn èèyàn after a long while, evidence has pointed out, as I always say, this is your also international platform, that things could go the other way around. We pray that the situation that we are facing in Nigeria will not be the same. And that's the reason why we are asking for engagement and discussion so that the Yoruba people can go and have their own independent country. But if those that are saying that it's not going to happen under their watch, then it might be very difficult in the long run. It might be very difficult. So it is in the interest of everybody that we sort out this relationship between us and others in Nigeria. Like I said, many countries are being marginalized around the world. The indigenous people of Yoruba are also being marginalized in Nigeria. And I pray that we can resolve all the problems as quickly as possible without turning it to violence. That is my prayer. But as we know, freedom is not cheap. The Balochistan, the Pakistan literacy is 60%, while the Balochistan is 40%. The Balochistan. I think it might be the video. That's the reason why, using some of those videos could be a little bit, but we'll leave it like that. Let's move forward swiftly anyway. I can do the rest without playing the video. I'm just watching and I'll recite it. In terms of the growth, Pakistan since 2000 is 4.2%, while Balochistan is 2.1%. The same thing we are facing in Yoruba land. Could see growth. Rather than have the growth, we continue to decline. Could see growth. Let's go to the last one, I guess. I don't want to use that voice anymore because I believe that was the reason why it was freezing. So just to conclude before we wrap up the program, now, yes, I missed this one. The poverty rate in Pakistan is 40%, but the poverty rate in Balochistan is 71%. And these are meant to be the people that owns the resources. And all on the resources, yet they have not enjoyed the resources because they are being marginalized. So as I end the program, I remind us again that our right to self-determination is a fight and a task that must be completed by the will of our Creator, and it's not going back. We must be determined. We must remain focused. We must not be distracted. IT debate, but we are moving closer. And be rest assured that the last man standing is there for you, no matter what. Because it is an organization, it's not a vlog, it's not a blogging platform. Koikimedia Limited is an incorporated organization. And we've decided to use this platform not to make money, but to fight for the freedom of our people since 2019. We have lost thousands of revenue, but we've left that for now until we fight and get to where we are going. When we go to where we're going, we will know what to do with our platform. And on that note, at exactly 3:14 a.m. from London studio, 14th of March, 2025, I say Koikimedia, bringing the world closer to your doorsteps. Mo kí gbogbo èèyàn wa tẹ́ tí ń gbọ́ wa láti wákàtí méjì. Mo kí yín pé a kú òǹgbẹ, àdẹ̀kù lent, àdúrà wa gbà, àníṣe lásán. Ó ń ṣọmọ lóko bẹ́ẹ̀ ni, wọ́n ní sí pẹ̀lú ìyá rẹ̀, because I've seen that as an evidence. Àwọn ọmọ lóko tó jẹ́ àwọn family friend mi, kódà, I watched and saw how they were putting the bodies. Àwọn tó jọ́kùnrin méjèèjì. But mo rò pa sin àwọn náà pẹ̀lú ìyá wọn. Wọ́n tara, ó dùn wọ́n, ó dùn àwa náà, but a sin wọ́n pẹ̀lú ìyá wọn. Because mọ́mì wọn ló kú, àwọn ò kú. Ìyẹn ló ṣe máa ń tó Yorùbá bá ní, ó ń ṣọmọ lóko bẹ́ẹ̀ ni, àní sí pẹ̀lú ìyá rẹ̀. Àjàyí la máa jà, ìyẹn confam nìyẹn. Ojú ló ń kán ìbòjí, òun ló ń bọ̀ níbẹ̀, ọ̀rọ̀ bàbá wa Ìgbòho ni. Àsìkò kò ní pẹ́ mọ́. Ẹ má jẹ́ kí èèyàn kan sọ fún yín pé kò ní bọ́ sí. Àti wà lójú agbami, ó máa bọ́ sí. Ẹ jẹ́ nǹkan sáré kí èèyàn wa, torí I'm tired as well, I need to go back to bed. Mo kí ẹ Alan Conde. Only Britain at the evil kingdom, destroying humanity around the world. I agree with him. Ìwọ tó wà Nàìjíríà tó ní ò agree, ó lè gbádùn tó mi. as I'm still living in this country. Because even àwọn tó lówó Nàìjíríà gan wọ́n lè dárìn, security ló kó káàkiri, wọn ní freedom, níná, lómi, kò ń ṣe fault yín bọ́ ti báyé yín jẹ́. So tí Alan Conde bá sọ pé Britain tèmi wà nínú ẹ̀ ló ń sọ, kò ń ṣe Britain tàná. Britain wọ́n ti ṣe jàǹbá káàkiri gbogbo àgbáyé. Kudus ọmọ ìyá wa tí ó ṣaláìsí tí mọ́mì wọn kú ta lọ níjọ́ Tuesday àti mọ̀mísí mi, ọ̀rẹ́ mọ̀mísí mi ni. They've been close friends, childhood friends, as far back as 1964. Lọ́tijọ́ ń tẹ̀lé ra, kò sílùú tọ́jọ́ travel lọ rí. Bí mọ̀mísí mi ṣe ń lọ káàkiri, ìyá yẹn náà travel kó tó di pé wọ́n sá ní Nàìjíríà nígbà tí ìlú òṣì, ìlú òfò, ìlú àdáwọ̀n, kó tó fi sọ wọ́n di alájà tí sanwó ta náà. Ó mọ̀ pé disgrace ni. Òun gba gàrí àwìn, òun gba maggi àwìn, òun gba indomie àwìn, òun gba bread, òun wá ń sá káàkiri, òun fi yẹ kọ́ rí ẹ. Làwọn ti sá kúrò Nàìjíríà ní 1990. Mo kí bàbá wa Prophet John Ogundele, Ọlọ́run á jẹ́ rí yín pẹ́. Mo dúpẹ́ lọ́wọ́ yín. Mo kí gbogbo yín wá o. Ẹ má bínú tí n bá lè dárúkọ gbogbo yín. But like I said, it just dawned on me that we lost a mother, which is my mom's friend. So yesterday I decided to take time off to reflect. Britain, the evil kingdom that destroys humanity. Kudus sọ fún mi nígbà tá a wà ní mọ́ṣáláṣí. I pity a lot of Yoruba people that are joking with this movement in Europe, especially in the UK. Ẹ ti arrive, àwọn ọmọ yìí ti ní passport, ẹni iṣẹ́ tó dá lọ́wọ́. Ẹlòmíì àtẹni ìbọlẹ̀ bá Yorùbá nation yẹn dé. Kódà mo ṣe rí yàn kan láwọn tàjà lọ sí burial yẹn tó ń sọ fún mi pé Nàìjíríà ṣì máa dá. Mo kàn wò báyìí. Ẹ̀wọ̀n pa àwọn èèyàn dá mi mọ̀ dáadáa. Bọ̀bọ̀ tó máa ń ṣe Yorùbá, bọ̀bọ̀ tó máa ń ṣe Yorùbá nation yẹn kọ́ nìyẹn lẹ́nu wọn. Èmi ni bọ̀bọ̀. Àbí? Racism ìlú yìí kò tí end. We talked about it in the mosque. Kudus wá jẹ́ kó yé mi pé $45 trillion ní Britain jí lọ́wọ́ India. India no ever forgive ìlú yìí. Ìyẹn ni wọ́n, èmi ní 20 years, Kudus ní kò ní tó yẹn mọ́. Gbogbo ìlú ìpátá wọn ní mọ́bí tó máa kó Indians ní nǹkan tó máa ṣe fún wọn nílùú yìí. Intelligently, wọ́n máa invade wọn ní gbogbo everywhere. From the council to the everywhere, wọ́n máa invade wọn. Because Britain náà ti ṣe jàǹbá fún wọn tó pọ̀. $45 trillion ní Britain jí kúrò lára India. And you expect them to forgive them. So, ìwọ tó wà nílé, kò yẹ ni mo understand. Àbí bóyá, I'll leave it like that. But for now, ẹ lọ mu fẹ́nsìk, ẹ jẹ wédú, ẹ lọ jẹ̀fọ́. Ní ti Yorùbá ni mo mínú, ẹ dìra dáadáa. Èyí tó ń bọ̀ kò sẹ́ni tó mọ̀, pàdé bá wa láyọ̀ àtàlàfíà. Mo kí Yorùbá Nation Láfẹ́ TV ní Hong Kong. Mo kẹ́yìn tẹ́ ń wò mí lórí Twitter. Mo kẹ́yìn tẹ́ ń gbọ́ mi lórí Twitter Space. Mo kẹ́yìn tẹ́ máa tún wò. Ẹ má gbàgbé, continue to support this platform so that we can transform and we'll move swiftly. 2025 is a very important year. We will not relent to fight for our people. The problem we found ourselves today was Britain plan. The Britain royal family didn't understand the meaning of peace, only violence on us. And I know that things will be sorted out as well with violence. Violence, la ma fi resolve it. Tá bá jẹ́ kí a lọ by peace, it will be violent. My name is OLAYOMI KOIKI. A very good morning. God bless Yoruba people. Bye for now.